Hello everybody, and this is Chaos with Chaos Esports Productions, bringing you another Bronze to Masters League Series game. Today we are going to be looking at a PvZ. Now this is a fun and wonderful PvZ because we open up and we get... Wait for it. Japanese! Why not, you know? So we're going to go ahead and get into it. Now, I actually do understand Japanese, and that did say arigato, which means thank you, after I say good luck, have fun, so, you know, whatevs. So yeah, kind of cool. PvZ, as we all know, is probably one of my favorite matchups right now. I was just like, oh gosh, he took the extra time to say it in Japanese, so I've got to scout for for some type of cheese, because when people are just, you know, when people are goofing off like that, it usually means they're trying to troll you. So yeah, so I'm going to send my probe in here, and actually I'm going to scout a 12 pool, which, personally, I don't know what benefits a 12 pool have over doing the normal 15 pool, 15 hatch nonsense. Obviously you can get a queen a little bit earlier, but all in all, I don't think it really gives you anything. Now, this is a fairly long game, and I kind of just want to hit on the highlights of this game because, honestly, I don't feel like I played this one too terribly well, but it worked out in my favor just because I was able, my multitasking was a little bit better than his, which is always fun to know, you know. when you know that you have better APM than your opponent, then you know it's just a good day. So, gonna quickly talk about the build. So it's the standard 90-watt build. We're gonna go for a 13 gate, 14 simulator, 15, 16-ish cybernetics core. You start building the zealot until you realize, hey, he's not 6 pooling, 10 pooling, or doing something cheesy. You cancel the zealot, go straight for your nexus, and you get your mothership core out ASAP. So yeah, there's a wonderful link to an article that I wrote about this build. If you care to look at the logistics of that, that'll be in the description, so feel free to check that out. So yeah, so opponent's not doing really anything. We're just kind of getting everything set up so we can play out dem macro games. Other than that, we're going to be getting out our zealot to finish our wall off here at the natural. Going to be getting up a cannon because we have, since he went for an early pool, we're kind of like, he's going to have a million lings. So yeah, so basically the way this build works is it all depends on what we scout. We want to scout with a probe at some point and figure out if he is taking this wonderful third, as we see my probe is down here. When you do see this third, you can either do this, you can plant this down here now or plant it down a little bit later. He didn't really scout my probe, so I'm pretty confident that I can plant this and not lose it. And I didn't see an overlord over in this area. Now, this probably would have been safer over in this region because a lot of Zerg players like to put their overlords kind of over in this brush area. So basically, what we're going to be trying to do, we're going to be currently boosting out our +1 and then planting down our 4th gate to put on a little bit of 4th gate pressure. Basically, we're going to warp in 2 rounds of zealots eventually. Basically, we come in here just to check to make sure that it finishes. We send in our first, my counterpart says how it goes. But yeah, we're going to be taking out the hatch as soon as possible. Now, had he sent all of his lings in, he might have been able to kill it, but he would have lost 90% of all of his lings. So obviously didn't want to take that risk and just went ahead and sacrificed his third. Yeah, so he's basically just playing super defensive because obviously I took out his third. He's not too happy about it. And these zealots are actually just going to go home. Really, that's the only point of that attack. Continuing on to like push into the natural and try to just win is pretty dumb because the likelihood of him not building up defenses is slim to none. So yeah, so we're going to be sending all of these zealots back. Now, it's really nice that we actually get saved every single one of them. So free units for us, and you know, we're not too terribly far behind on the economic front. He is fully saturated on 2 bases, which is a little bit of a Debbie Downer, but no big deal. Now, once you do get your natural up, and you know that this is either going to be successful or not successful, I tend to plant down the Robo Bay as soon as I have 100 gas to plant it down. This basically just continues on in further into the build, getting out some Immortals and your Colossus for later on. Otherwise, going to be getting our +1 armor, getting our Twilight Council down to get +2 on the way. And basically we're just kind of chilling out. We do a little bit of scouting with an observer, as well as I sent a probe out here, but it died unfortunately. I did go ahead and plant down another proxy pylon out to the side here, because obviously given the opportunity where I like push into the natural, I can warp in a handful of people here and take out the third if necessary, or if possible. Other than that, going to be getting out some more gateways because we need to get our production up and then get our Robo Bay up to get our Colossus. Now, he has a pretty decent army at this point. I mean, if we look at the army tab, you can see that he's a little bit ahead as far as minerals goes, but obviously we can kind of even that up. Now, this is a little bit unfortunate. By planting your forge out here, it's very, very exposed, which means it's very susceptible to get taken out on pushes like this. So a little bit of a bummer. Now I do believe, okay, I did go ahead and get a Dark Shrine as well, just as a small little caveat. So he's gonna unfortunately take out my forge. I am gonna photon overcharge just to get him kind of out of here. He did have a lot of links up there that kind of didn't do what they should have done. The Ling should have come around here and surrounded me, and that probably would have done lots more damage than he's going to do now. So, pretty decent force fields. We do have one small little hole here for Lings, which is a little bit unfortunate, but overall he's going to pretty much just back off and not going to need to worry too much. You can see we're still pretty close. He's a little bit ahead, as he was earlier on. I gotta speed up a little bit more because this is a really long game. I'm really surprised he didn't see that pylon. That's kind of lucky for me. So with my first Colossus out, I'm gonna be just posturing out a little bit. Just want to kind of clear these watchtowers. He sees my army. Just kind of want to put on the scare. He builds a whole bunch of spine crawlers because he's like, holy cow. How do you know when a Zerg player is crapping his pants? He sees your army and builds 1,000,000 spine crawlers. That's pretty much how that works. So I actually send in some DTs, and they do a fair amount of damage. I'm able to take out a handful of the spine crawlers. Now, overall, was it very effective? Probably not terribly effective. My army is actually like stupid weak. If I fully engage this one-on-one, I just die. And as we can see, my macro has been slipping just a little, mainly as a function of my gateways are kind of just now finishing up. So yeah, so going to be looking to take on a third, because thirds are good to take when when we know our opponent's been on 3 bases for way longer than we have. And we're going to be basically just standing defensive. Now, in this position, we're feeling a little bit behind because we haven't been able to do a whole lot of damage. We did that really nice damage early on, taking out his third, but we really haven't accomplished anything. We haven't had any, like, super hardcore, we totally won that battle engagements. So, we come in here and we actually kind of botch that engagement a little bit. Get some awful force fields, and he's going to be sitting back. Now, see, this pylon came in handy. I warped in, what, 3 DTs, and these 3 DTs are taking out his third. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, so at that point, these DTs have done their job. They can just kind of die, no big deal. We're not too terribly worried about that. Still getting our Colossus up. Now, I tend to stop at around 3. You can go for more, like 4 or 5, or heck, even 6. But what I like to do is I like to transition from there into like some warp prism play, and that gives me the mobility that I need. Now, obviously, he did see my warp prism, so he should be like knowing that I'm coming, which I Okay. So yeah, so this is actually kind of cool. So he didn't notice, so my War Prison's actually going to get back in here and do a lot of damage, and it's going to be pretty awesome. So, warping in units, just kind of playing defensive. Now, went ahead and built up some cannons to reduce his mobility getting through here. I did botch those force fields. This one should have been a little bit closer. But I do now have some DTs warping in, which is awesome. And he's going to start worrying about that fairly shortly. Come in here, take out his Hydra Den, because we can. Take out his Roach Warren, because since he's only on Roach Hydra, we know that that's all he's going to do. We actually also took out his Infestation Pit, which delays him getting his upgrades in Hive Tech, which is super awesome. I don't know if we take out the Spire as well. Yeah, so we took out every single one of his, like, structures that let him build units, which is pretty awesome. I'm going to go ahead and put the production tab back. Obviously, he started building them again, but this is going to delay him significantly. Still lacking on the macro. Need to work on that. When you're doing this kind of drop play, it's a little bit okay. We also killed the spawning pool, which is a nice little bonus. So yeah, so at this point we're just kind of sitting back. We got getting High Templars up, and because we're going to be looking to put on some stormage. I think I did like a small warp in here that didn't really do much. And he actually sends a lot of his armies in this nice little line, so I can just pick them off, which is obviously fairly helpful. Not the best force fields in the world. I'm going to be getting up my 4th base, because we need to start thinking about that since our main is mined out. These Hydras are just chilling out over here. I'm not sure what they're doing. But yeah, so, I mean, overall, I think this game has been played very well. He starts to build a base, and so here's one engagement that I am pretty happy with. These High Templars didn't do jack, because I don't think, yeah, Storm's only halfway done, and yeah, those didn't do a whole lot. He takes out pretty much the majority of my gateway units, which is okay, but obviously not ideal, because Colossus alone are just not good. So he's going to take a look for a 4th base. I send these guys in to do some more damage. Do a fair amount. He sends his whole army. Basically, his biggest problem is he can't multitask my counterattacks and things of that nature. He just now realized the spawning pool's done, or got killed. So he goes for Swarm Host. Now, Swarm Hosts in PvZ is, well, Swarm Hosts in general are not a very good defensive unit. So by him going Swarm Host, kind of gives me the opportunity to be aggressive and not worry about it. He's invested a lot in this tech, and is going to be thinking about sticking on this tech for a significant amount of time. So Storm is done. Now Charge is super late. I don't know anybody who decides that Charge at the 22-minute mark is necessary. I mean, if we look at my army, I've got what, seven zealots. So yeah, that's just dumb. But sometimes you just got to say, wow. Get some free Corruptors, always good. These Templars just doing whatever, and then finally Stormage. Take out a lot of these drones, which pretty much secures me this game. So basically, what this game boiled down to was the mechanics of the build were okay. I think we could have done a little bit better as far as the engagements went, but as far as the multitasking and being able to, you know, drop over here, do a counterattack over here, take out the space while he wasn't even realizing it, those type of things are definitely stuff that I'm going to start utilizing a lot more, because they're a lot more effective than just one-on-one engagements. One-on-one engagements are okay, but I think in general the engagements become less important when you're doing lots of damage on the side. So yeah, so I think that's all I've got to say about this game. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you would like me to do some analysis of one of your replays, feel free to send your replays to the email in the description. I thoroughly enjoy getting other people's games and taking a look at their builds and just getting a feel for how other people are playing Protoss. And honestly, if you're a Terran or Zerg player, feel free to send me your replays as well. I would be more than happy to give you some pointers, especially if it's against a Protoss player, because obviously I'm a Protoss player and understand the issues and problems that Protoss players see. Also, if you would like to give me the suggestion of which race I should do next for my Bronze Masters League series, feel free to leave that in the description. Greatly appreciated. So far I've gotten a handful of, hey, I want you to do Zerg, hey, I want you to do Terran. Nothing quite decisive like OMG. So yeah, wow, I had 5 unpowered gateways. How do you know when you're bad? That right here. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this game, and feel free to subscribe if you're new. I do these games usually twice a week, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, depends on how work is going. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next game.